Addiction, a form of affliction that hangs, looms, and whispers sweet nothings, beckoning me to indulge, to divulge in my darkest urges, splurges that are earned, deserved, rewarded, only they are an expression of feelings hoarded, hidden, forbidden to come forth, unseen and unheard, not a word spoken, a heart hurting, broken, torn and twisted, longing for connection, protection from our own inner demons. And the scheme is to get us weak-minded. Our mind then becomes its enemy, tunnel-visioned, obsessive, possessive of the poison that's killing us, defending and depending on it to give us life. Numb to the smell of death, we spray a little more perfume, pretending we don't know the ending to the story. So I write poetry as a form of expression, to express. I didn't expect that, thank you. But it wasn't always the case. I was an isolated child, and I used books as a form of escapism. I read all the time because it was easier than facing reality. It was easier than acknowledging the trauma and the hurts and the pain. It was depression showing itself at a very young age. And escapism changed to drugs and alcohol as a teen. That led me into the arms of a very cruel and abusive young man. And through that cruelty and abuse, my addiction had become so unmanageable. I knew I needed a change. My life could no longer go on the way that it was. And I decided to give a church a try called New Direction. I would show up with my hoodie pulled low, arms crossed in the back, hiding. And by the end of the service, I'd be in the front, weeping, and just knowing that this is what I needed. This is what would change me. This is what would fix all the brokenness that I had in my life. I thought from here on out, it's gonna be rainbows and butterflies and kittens after I decided to give my life to Jesus in 2003. And it wasn't. Oh man, I didn't change my environment. I didn't change my friends. Nothing around me changed except for the fact that I knew I was an addict and that Jesus was real. And so, of course, my addiction still remained. I still was involved with the same crowd of people, and it became unmanageable again. And I realized I needed to fully commit to this Jesus thing. I don't know what it is, but I'm gonna do it. And in 2004, I said, all right, everybody get out of my house. And I decided to become a full-fledged Jesus person. And I changed my friends, I changed my community, I changed the people that I was around, and I met my husband. Hey! So that was my first taste of sobriety. And I had little bouts here and there throughout that time. We got married in 2006 and became homeowners, and we became homebrewers. That means we brewed our own alcohol readily available to us. I didn't think that I had a problem. I was saved, healed, whatever, from alcohol. And we slowly started introducing it, and then I became a mom. And then we lost a child in between two kids, and I had postpartum depression, pretty hardcore. And my second was born, and postpartum depression was full-fledged. And she was a very difficult child after she was born. Suicidal thoughts and escapism was something I was super familiar with. And since alcohol was socially acceptable, even in Christian circles, I decided I'm gonna continue to drink. But I was hiding and lying and not willing and wanting to deal with what actually got me to the bottle every single time. I met my brother for the first time in 2015, which was an awesome experience. It was incredible, but I wasn't really ready or willing to deal with what it would bring up, and the pains and the hurts and the rejection. And when I came back from that trip to North Carolina, something inside me snapped. my drinking ramped up and it accelerated. And through that, I realized that my life had become unmanageable. I was compromising the safety of my children. And God had told me December 29th of 2015, if you don't get your life together, you're going to ruin everything and lose it all. And I took him at his word. I was like, all right, he means business. And so I had to come clean to my husband about how much I was drinking, and to my friends, and to my church family at Heart of the City, where I was in leadership. And I was so terrified, and I go up to Charity Carmody and say, your girl's an alcoholic. She was like, okay, I love you. And that following Sunday, she introduced me to a young lady who was drinking, and she said, I want you to talk to her. And I'm detoxing, guys. Like, what? Who am I to talk to her? That's ridiculous. And she goes, who better to talk to her than you? In that relationship, I needed more than, it was a mutual give and take. And through that, I realized sharing my story is a way that I can not be ashamed anymore. Actually remaining in the present, because when we're in full-fledged addiction, we are dwelling in the past, or we're tripping about the future, and we're not able to deal with and look at what's happening in the now. And so through this process of recovery and sharing my story with others and being open about it, I'm also learning to deal with the things that have kept me addicted for so long. And I'm learning how to share and not be ashamed, because through that I have a community of people and brothers and sisters who are fighting this fight with me. And even to this day, I still struggle and I still want that drink, but I know that I will lose it all. I will lose everything. And what I have now is not worth it to me. And I didn't start living my life until I became sober. That's when it was like an aha moment. And that's when I realized I could have happiness and joy and actually not have to be stuck in that lifestyle of chaos and regrets and pain. So I thank you today for allowing me to be present with you here.